Good morning and thanks for joining us on Mega News at 6 on MBN TV, live and direct from our studios, 10th Avenue Extension, Greater Estate, Nongwa, Ajogono. The news is also live on all our social media platforms on MBN 360, and I'm Wendy Latte. Now the headlines.
President John Dramani Mahama calls for peace, unity, and rejection of extremism during Eid al-Adha. In business, government suspends contract mining directive after engagement with mine workers union. On the international front, World Health Organization warns of catastrophic collation as disease and conflict deepen in Democratic Republic of Congo.
These and many other more stories coming up shortly. Now, news in details. President John Dramani Mahama has urged Ghanaians to uphold peace, tolerance, and national unity as Muslims across the country celebrate Eid al-Adha. The president called on citizens to reject all forms of extremism and work together to protect Ghana's democratic stability and social harmony.
President John Dramani Mahama has delivered a strong message of peace and coexistence to Ghanaians in his Eid al-Adha address, urging citizens to reject division, violence, and extremist ideologies. Speaking to the nation as a Muslim commemorates the sacred festival of sacrifice, the president emphasized the need for religious tolerance, mutual respect, and national unity, especially at a time when several parts of the world continue to face insecurity and instability linked to extremism. He commended the Muslim community for its contribution to national development and called on all faith-based groups to continue promoting peace and understanding across the country. The president further stressed that Ghana's strength lies in its unity and peaceful coexistence among people of different religious and ethnic background. He encouraged citizens to use the Eid celebration as an opportunity to demonstrate compassion, generosity, and support for the vulnerable in society. President Mahama also assured Ghanaians of government commitment to maintaining peace and security while safeguarding the country's democratic values. Eid al-Adha celebration, also known as the Festival of Sacrifice, is observed by Muslims worldwide to honor the faith and obedience of Prophet Ibrahim.
The lessons of Eid al-Adha therefore extend far beyond the slaughtering of animals. The occasion calls on us to sacrifice, be selfless, don't hate one another, not to be greedy, not to divide amongst ourselves, not to be dishonest, and not to be indifferent to each other's suffering. It reminds us that true worship is grounded in sincerity, devotion, humility, and compassion. As Allah tells us in the Holy Quran, in Surah Al-Hajj, He says, their meat will not reach Allah, nor will their blood, but what reaches Allah is piety from you. So it's not the meat that you slaughter or the blood that is spilled that will reach Allah. What will reach Allah is your heart and how pious you are. This verse beautifully teaches us that Allah values not only the physical sacrifice, but also the righteousness, devotion, and charity behind the sacrifice. Islam also teaches us that the meat from the sacrifice should be shared amongst family, friends, neighbors, and most importantly, the poor and vulnerable in society. This spirit of sharing and caring is among the greatest strength of the Islamic religion. My brothers and sisters, the message of Eid is particularly important in today's world where many societies are facing division, intolerance, violence, and conflict. Ghana continues to stand out as a shining example of peaceful coexistence among people of different faiths and backgrounds. Christians and Muslims have lived together harmoniously for generations, sharing communities, schools, businesses, and even family ties. We must continue to preserve and strengthen this harmony. I urge all Ghanaians, irrespective of religion or ethnicity, to continue promoting peace, tolerance, understanding, and mutual respect. We must reject extremism, political tolerance, tribal divisions, and all acts that threaten our national unity.
Still in the presidency, former Vice President Mahamudu Bawumia has urged Muslims across Ghana and the world to uphold the values of sacrifice, compassion, and unity as they celebrate Eid al-Adha, one of the most significant festivals in Islam.
Former Vice President Mahmoud Bawumia has extended warm wishes to Muslim communities during the Eid al-Adha celebration, calling on believers to reflect on the deeper values of faith, sacrifice, and togetherness. In his Eid message, Dr. Bawumia encouraged Muslims to emulate the example of Prophet Ibrahim through acts of obedience, generosity, and commitment to the well-being of others. He emphasized the importance of compassion and support for the needy, especially during the festive period, and urged citizens to strengthen the bonds of peace and national unity. Dr. Bawumia also called on Ghanaians to continue promoting religious tolerance and coexistence, stressing that Ghana's stability and progress depends on harmony among people of different faiths and backgrounds. The former vice president commended the Muslim community for its contribution to national development and encouraged the youth to remain guided by discipline, hard work, and respect for national values. Eid al-Adha, also known as the Festival of Sacrifice, commemorates the willingness of Prophet Ibrahim to sacrifice his son in obedience to Allah's command, and is marked by prayers, charity, and a sharing of food with family, friends, and the less privileged.
In business, the Bank of Ghana has filed an appeal against a court ruling that restored the operating license of GN Savings and Loans, escalating the legal battle over the country's financial sector cleanup exercise.
The Bank of Ghana has challenged a recent court decision ordering the restoration of the license of GN Savings and Loan. The central bank argues that the ruling could undermine regulatory authority and affect efforts aimed at maintaining stability and confidence within Ghana's financial sector. The legal dispute stems from the revocation of the company's license during the financial sector cleanup exercise initiated several years ago to address insolvency, governance failures, and regulatory breaches among financial institutions. A court has earlier ruled in favor of GN Savings and Loan, directing that its license be reinstated. However, the Bank of Ghana insists the decision raises significant legal and regulatory concerns and has therefore moved to overturn the judgment through appeals process. Officials of the bank maintain that all actions taken during the cleanup exercise were necessary to protect depositors, safeguard the broader financial system. The case is expected to attract significant public and legal interest, as it could influence future regulatory actions and shape judicial interpretation of the powers of financial regulators in Ghana. Observers says the outcome may also have implications for other institutions affected by the financial sector reforms undertaken by the Bank of Ghana.
Meanwhile, government has suspended its proposed contract mining directive following discussion with the Ghana Mine Workers Union amid concerns over potential job losses and the future of workers within the mining sector.
Government has temporarily suspended the implementation of its contract mining directive after engaging the Ghana Mine Workers Union and other stakeholders in the mining industry. The directive, which had generated strong opposition from the labor groups, was criticized over fear that it could lead to job insecurity, weaken workers' protection, and after long-term employment conditions in the mining sector. Following consultations, government announced the suspension to allow for broader dialogue and review of concerns raised by organized labor and industry players. The Ghana Mine Workers Union welcomed the decision, describing it as a positive step towards protecting workers' interests and maintaining industrial harmony within the sector. Industry observers say the development highlights the importance of stakeholder engagement and policy implementation, especially in strategic sectors such as mining, which remains a major contributor to Ghana's economy. Government has assured stakeholders that further consultations will be held to reach a consensus on the way forward while balancing productivity, investment, and workers' welfare. The suspension is expected to ease tensions within mining communities, and discussions continue over the further structure and regulations of contract mining operations in Ghana.
On the international front, the World Health Organization (WHO) has raised alarm over what it describes as a catastrophic collision of disease outbreak and ongoing armed conflict in the Democratic Republic of the Congo.
The World Health Organization says Democratic Republic of Congo is facing a dangerous convergence of public health crisis and insecurity, with outbreaks such as Ebola spreading in regions already affected by conflict and displacement. According to the global health body, fighting in several parts of the country is making it difficult for medical teams to reach affected communities, deliver supplies, and carry out surveillance needed to contain the disease. Health workers are reportedly operating in high volatile conditions with limited access to remote areas where suspected cases are emerging. The WHO warns that such disruption significantly increases the risk of further transmission and loss of life. The situation is further complicated by the population displacement as families flee violence and move across regions, making it harder to track infections and maintain vaccination and treatment programs. Public health experts say the overlapping crisis could overwhelm already fragile health system if urgent support and security measures are not strengthened. WHO is calling for coordinated international assistance, improve humanitarian access, and enhance disease surveillance to prevent the outbreak from escalating into a wider regional emergency. Authorities in the Democratic Republic of Congo are working with global partners to contain the outbreak, whilst also addressing ongoing security challenges that continues to disrupt response operations.
That's all for today on the morning bulletins on MBN TV. I am Wendy Lati. But before we leave, a recap of the top stories.
President John Dramani Mahama calls for peace, unity, and rejection of extremism during Eid al-Adha. In business, government suspends contract mining directive after engagement with mine workers union. On the international front, World Health Organization warns of catastrophic collation as disease and conflict deepen in Democratic Republic of Congo.
And for more news, log on to MBN 360 on Facebook, YouTube, and TikTok. Thank you for watching. Stay and enjoy the rest of our programs. Up next is Sport Update.